Hey guys, good to get back with you again, and it's going to be a little bit different kind of digital connection than what we've ever done to this point. Um, uh, it's I don't know, it's been uh, amazing to see the progression of you students. I know there's quite a few adults that have been watching these videos, which I appreciate, and it's great. Um, but as you can tell through it is kind of aimed at students. And, I've seen not only a multitude in a little over 5 years that I've been here, students graduate from high school, but I've come to see some now even graduate from college. And just incredible to go ahead and see them grow. And, there's been years where there's more students in some years than others, but I guess one of the blessings I've had that I've seen from you, no matter what highs or lows that are going on, um, at the heart, there just seems to be some sort of, I don't know, just a special, unique bond, with these students that have been a part of this youth group. And I don't want to speak of it in past tense, but it does lead to part of what this video is about. Like I said, I've been here at Living Grace, and for 5 years. As I mentioned, not only seeing people graduate, but church has gone through a name change. Lots happened. 5 years I've been here. It's about 3 years ago, I was approached and asked if I'd be willing to help in a little community that has been kind of dubbed as the Forgotten Island. Greeley doesn't want it, Evans doesn't want it, but God does. A place called Helen Park. A place that, because the people feel so unwanted, it's difficult to connect with them. And I really believe that God's used these past 3 years with me being there just really for simply to develop relationships with folks. But God's just really laid it in my heart of recent to my full attention needs to be out there to help the community take that next step forward. And take note, I'm saying the community out there. The church's lighthouse, and I think it's a proper name for a place where there is so many people kind of in the dark in the community. But spiritually speaking, they're good people. But the community itself is a shared. There's folks that enjoy their privacy, but it's taken 3 years. But the time I've been there, I've come to see where while they want the privacy, they still want something to be able to come together and reestablish community and have something that they stand for together in. And a part of that process is I know that, like I said, God's calling me out to be there full time, and I'm not going to say resign or anything like that with the youth here. I want to say transition over to there. I'm not going to say resign because students, if you're watching this, that makes it sound like that I'm quitting and I'm giving up on you. I haven't, but there will be a transition where there's going to be someone else here leading, for you, Bible studies and things like that. But I'm still going to be in prayer for you. I'm still just a phone tap away if you want to shoot me a message. And I'm over at Helen Park if you just want to drop over, say hi and visits, or whatever goes on with that. There's a passage I want to go ahead and share with you that's kind of spoke to me during this time of transition, and God, what do you want to do? What do you not? And it's in the book of Hebrews, chapter 12. Interesting chapter. It's following just right after this, right after this kind of hall of faith. These men that have just been incredible people that have been just incredible examples of faith and what it's all about. And starting at verse 1, any of you that's been sitting in church before and hearing the preacher preach, he says, well, if you see the word therefore, you need to wait and look at it and see why is it therefore. And and starting at verse 1, that's what this opens with. And it says, therefore, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, let us throw off everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangles us. And let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us, fixing our eyes on Jesus, the pioneer of the perfecter of faith. For the joy set before him, he endured the cross, scorning its shame, and sat down at the right hand of the throne of God. Consider him who endured such opposition from sinners, so that you will not grow weary and lose heart. It's a. Let me read this last verse from verse 4, and it says, "In your struggles against sin, you have not yet resisted to the point of shedding your blood." Maybe I didn't need to read that one, but true enough. I guess most of us haven't. It's the top part of that I really wanted to just really lean into, though, when talking about this transition. I find it interesting that just some key words that really speak to me, and I don't know, maybe I hope it resonates over to you. Tells us anything that's slowing us down and keeping us from missing God's mark, emotions, thoughts, preferences, comforts. It tells us to throw it to the side. And then it says to run with perseverance for the race marked out for us, keeping our eyes on Jesus. And that's exactly what's happening with Highland Park. Is there a certain level of comforts and enjoyment and a blessing working with these students week in and week out, and being a part of your life, seeing you grow, baptizing a lot of you? Yeah, there is. And it's easy to want to go ahead and lean in to what's comfortable. But God's calling for something great, out in that community. And, be in prayer for what's going on. As I shared with you already, never forget, my heart isn't forgiven you. I'm still in the area. I'm still here. And as a matter of fact, I bet Sean will probably, if I'll get him the information, put a link in for the Lighthouse YouTube page if you're wanting to see some studies and videos I'm doing, where you can still maybe connect through the church website or something. And it's all good. God's moving forward. You guys are going to grow with one another. You too, keep your eyes on the race that's set before you, and just keep your eyes on Jesus, and it's going to be good. And really looking forward to see what God's going to do. And just want to thank you, students, for being a part of this past 5 years. It's been good. And I know the next years ahead of me in Lighthouse is going to be good as well, because God's been in both. So take care and God bless. I love y'all. And be keeping an eye out for me. My heart's praying for you. Take care.
And in that time of transition, I just wanted to jump in and
Sure.
let the youth know that, we'll definitely keep your video links up. You still are posting videos with Lighthouse as well, but we'll still keep the digital connection going here. And I'll be taking over during this transition time for the youth here at Living Grace, just to kind of keep them involved and keep working with you all. And next week, I think we'll actually be looking more in depth than 2 Samuel, but continue on with what you brought up, Will, in that last video on Wednesday that was put up. But the greatest commandments, the loving God and loving people.
Right.
I think we're going to continue with that idea, and also looking at 2 Samuel, starting to look at some of the mighty men of David and how to be a mighty person for God. So we will continue the digital connection here. So continue to stay with us through that as we transition as a church, looking for the next step for the youth group as well, as Will's taking this next step in his transition to work with those out at Lighthouse.
Yeah, thank you, Sean. I guess that helps sometimes to have something a little scripted out sometimes. Definitely wasn't trying to leave you out, and man, you've been such a blessing in getting these videos put together, and I know you're going to be great continuing with getting these digital connections out for the students. So yeah, keep an eye out for Sean. He's going to be helping a lot, and it's going to be good. So thank you, Sean.